Congressman Dan Crenshaw is warning about the dangers of Antifa. So he went on Fox News. I'm going to show you what he said here. This is funny for a number of reasons, but when we come back, I'll break down the problem with what he's saying.
Seconds left, but Antifa, do they exist? Because some Democrats don't think they exist. That
it's amazing,
Republicans are bringing it up because it's a distraction.
Well, we'll have security hearings with the FBI and the Homeland Security Committee, and I will hear multiple Democrats question whether Antifa even exists. I will hear that in the halls of Congress. It truly is unbelievable. And I say, guys, if you're not sure if they exist, there's hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of videos of them. They wear a uniform, basically. They have a symbol. Yes, they exist. Yes, they exist. They're, you can call them Anarcho-Fascist-Communists, whatever they are. In any case, they're basically a domestic terrorist organization. Okay, they're destroying property. They're hurting people. And they fundamentally want a revolution inside the United States of America. And we can't sugarcoat this anymore.
I mean, they love to have their boogeymen and act like, this is the most pressing issue facing the country, but I hate to inject some facts into the conversation here for Dan Crenshaw, but there's a reason why people are talking about Antifa as if it's not a big problem. First of all, there's no sign of Antifa so far in Justice Department cases brought over the unrest. And then also, the FBI has found no evidence of Antifa's involvement in national unrest. So, if Antifa was doing the violence, was doing the rioting, was doing the looting or whatever, there would have been charges brought against them. At the very least, there would have been some instances of some of them getting caught and getting charged. They're not. You don't see it with local law enforcement. You don't see it with the feds. So, I hate to burst his bubble, and you know who else is going to be mad at me for saying this stuff? Antifa themselves. They're really not that big of an issue. They're just not. The right-wing boogeyman is that they're highly organized, highly funded, highly trained, like scary Marxist terrorists who are just plotting against America 24/7. But listen, anybody who's been in left circles for an extended period of time can tell you this if they're being honest. The left is insanely unorganized, totally leaderless. It's just a bunch of ragtag. It's a bunch of different, separate people, sometimes groups, most of the time not. And there's no national organization. There's no structure. There's no hierarchy. There's no marching orders. There's no nothing, son. What happened in the wake of the George Floyd murder, it was totally organic. Now, yes, can you say some people went too far in their reaction? Absolutely. Nobody condones, wanton violence and stuff like that. Or if they do, they're silly. But it's just not what they're making it out to be. Which gets to the most important point, which is these guys contradict themselves all the time. Half the time, Antifa is like, they're highly trained Marxists who are doing this long-term plot to overthrow America and do a revolution, and they're scary and they're effective. And then the other half of the time, they're soy boy losers who, are weak and live in mommy's basement and they don't know what they're doing and they're pathetic excuses for men. Which is it? You have to pick one, and you can't just change based off of your mood. You can't just flip it based off of whatever, fits the story of the day. But I wish there was a highly organized left that could, bring about the reform that we need. I wish we had a left that was so highly organized and so effective that we push our politicians to do Medicare for all and free college and end the drug war and free the nonviolent drug offenders and end the wars. Like, there's all these things I want to do. And, if you listen to Dan Crenshaw, it's like you have these commies and anarchists out there in the street and Antifa, and that's what they're trying to do, a revolution to get those ideas implemented. And they're just not doing that. They're not. You know, unfortunately, if you talk to a lot of these people as to why they're out there, you get a plethora of answers, and some of them are just very reactionary and thoughtless in a way. Where, you know, reactionary is not the right word. Reflexive. You know, why are you out there? Police brutality. Okay, what are your solutions? Defund the police. Okay, but specifically, what do you want to do? Stuff and things. Okay. See, this is why I get upset, because there is no highly organized left with clear goals that are using a strategy that's going to get us from point A to point B. When you have groups like Antifa and others, it's really just a ragtag amalgamation of a whole bunch of individuals that are under this broad umbrella, but they're not effective. There's no order or leadership or hierarchy or clear path or theory of change. It's just, you know, it's kind of like just chaos and mayhem, and they're relatively ineffectual. So the boogeyman argument and the scary, they're terrorist argument, that really doesn't land with me. If there was some sort of grand plot, the FBI, the Department of Justice, the local police departments, they would have figured it out. And instead, they haven't, because the left just isn't what they're making it out to be.